at a holiday party when you're trying to give away things. And people are still socializing. Welcome to this May program. What a beautiful. Can you hear me now? Closer? Okay. Gosh, doesn't sound COVID friendly to be that close. Anyway, again, welcome to our May program. What a beautiful day and a beautiful facility, and just can't be more excited to be here. I've already talked with a number of you who are lining up to make deposits today. So, but before we turn to today's program, I wanted to recognize and report on just a couple of things. First, thank you to our April Dine Around host. I think I saw Samaya. Are you here, Samaya? Thank you so much for hosting our second Ramadan Dine Around. Amanda Brown said, I have not seen, also hosted, and boy, that crew, if you're there, raise your hand in the bunny ears. Very impressive. And thirdly, Molly Burke, who I don't think is back from a trip out on the West Coast, but we were very negligent at Molly's house. I was there and did not even take a picture, but I promise, wave your hand if you're at Molly's. We had a great time, sat outside. And it was awesome. So great chocolate mousse, and she'll share the recipe if you'd like it. So I heard great things from each of these. So thank you all again for joining us for Dine Arounds. Second, we are planning a special member orientation event in June. We haven't finalized a date yet. Bentina's not here, our new engagement chair, but they're our COVID classes, basically 2020 and 2021 new members really didn't get the same level of treatment, welcome, introduction, etc., that we would like. And so the engagement committee is planning something special for June. More to come on that. Stay tuned. Also in June, we hope to have our first summer happy hour and may wrap that together in some way. But anyway, we'll keep you posted. Third, Chile. Who's here that's going? We've got 5 people going, so they must be home packing. The agenda looks great. It will be a smaller than usual global conference because there's still concerns about COVID, but all things are go, and we'll make sure to post some pictures and share some insights from down there. Now, on to our program. Many thanks, first of all, to Helene Lawless and Nancy Zintak, who organized today's program. Also, special thanks to Corso for hosting us in this fabulous facility. So before we move into the main program, I'd like to introduce Carrie Samuelson, who is the COO of Gallery Living here, to welcome us to this fabulous facility. And she'll be followed by Helene Lawless, who will introduce us to the rest of the program. So, Carrie,
I'm right here. Can y'all hear me? I'll try to speak loud. So welcome. We're so glad y'all are here today. I've enjoyed meeting some of you. It's such a fun group, and I didn't know y'all existed. So this is wonderful that I've gotten to meet you. So we are glad that you've decided to come here to Corso to talk about this topic. It's very fitting for us and what we do. We've actually been thinking about the future of aging for over 25 years, and we pride ourselves on innovating and always looking forward. And you are standing and sitting today in the culmination of that 25 years, and we're already redesigning and looking for our next project. So I thought it would be interesting to y'all to read you our mission statement, because we came to that mission statement after interviewing our residents and talking to them. It's really important to hear from a senior what they want and what they want their future to look like, because a lot of times we're younger than they are. We haven't experienced what they're experiencing yet. So our mission is to create unexpected happiness in life for seniors, their families, and communities. So as we were interviewing seniors, what we would hear from them is they didn't expect to be as happy as they were in this phase of their life. They didn't expect to enjoy these years. They didn't expect to make new friends at this age, and they didn't expect to learn new skills at this age. So that was something that was important to them and that something that they were getting out of senior living that they didn't expect. So we started to build that into our programming and everything else. What unexpected happiness can we create for these seniors? We're focused on innovation and dignity and excellence as well through that. So after your lunch, we are going to invite you to tour our building. And some of the things that you can look for are our creperie. We went for fun in that creperie. It's an ice cream shop. Everybody loves, I can tell you seniors love ice cream. So you're talking about the future, it better include ice cream. So we also are very focused on avoiding feeling institutional. They don't want to feel like they're in an institution. If you'll notice, we don't have handrails in the building. We built the handrails into the molding in the walls. We don't put paper up on the walls everywhere. We expect care to kind of fade into the background and not be out front. So also, we have worked very hard on the psychology of this building. Building a building that encourages interaction and community. So you'll see intimate spaces, you'll see our sports bar where it's a lot less intimidating to go sit with someone and watch a game, that sort of thing. So anyway, I want to thank you for allowing us to host this meeting. We're so thrilled that you're here and enjoy your talk.
So much. Isn't this so spectacular? So I will tell you, I was at the Fox Theater and there was an ad for Corso in the playbill, and Nancy and I got talking and we were like, wow, what is this? It looks kind of cool. So we are so excited to be able to do it. I will also say, if you are ever going to do a program, you want Nancy Intact. She is a dynamo. So today, called The Future of Aging. I will tell you, this was originally conceived. There was a moment where we were sitting around a program committee meeting, and we said something along the lines of, what is assisted living going to look like by the time we're there? And then it went through a period of time where we called it Aging Well, and then someone wanted to add to it, and it was Aging Well and Ending Well. And Nancy and I got involved, and we were like, that's terrible. So it is now the future of aging. We're going to be so thrilled. We have put together people with such diverse expertise to really bring a conversation to you all. So I'm going to introduce our panelists and our moderator who are going to be leading this conversation, so you all can come forward as I am talking. So Vanetta Dodson, who is a professor of gerontology psychology at Fruit City. You all, by the way, their full bios are attached to the email that you all received this morning. I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights. Becky Kurtz, who is the director of the Metro Atlanta Agency on Aging, which is part of the Atlanta Commission. Mandy Merkel, who is certified care manager and elder mediator. She also brings senior resource consulting. And Carolyn Phillips, who has a lot of different initiatives after her name, who is the director of the Center for Inclusive Design and Innovation at Georgia Tech. So I think we put together policy and health and care and innovation in a way that I think is really powerful today. And then we are so honored to have with us Alexis Abramson, Dr. Alexis Abramson, founder and CEO of AJA Associates, a gerontology expert who is going to be leading us in our conversation today. So please help me welcome these ladies. I will also say live stream is happening. We've got some of our members on Zoom right here. So just so you know, we've got some live folks out there.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you. Because I have never, ever been given an organized couple of pieces of paper like this one has been. That made my job so much easier. So, and Nancy as well for reaching out so I could be a moderator with all these amazing, amazing women. I just wanted to quickly kind of talk a little bit about, just raise your hand and bring me some point, but I wanted to talk a little bit about what's happening in the future of aging. I have worked a lot with innovation in future of aging, places like Japan, India, UK, okay, especially in Japan where they're obviously so much older than we are. There are challenges that we never thought would happen, things around incontinence, right? And because so many people are living so much longer, we now have all of these incontinence products and they don't know what to do with them because they don't know, they can't figure it out. The landfills are too full, they don't know how to deal with the situations. So working with them to turn it into solar energy, into energy products that can heat pools and heat, jacuzzis and heat different places like that. We're working with the UK to create really, really age-friendly and dementia-friendly environments, and not just within the walls of say assisted living, but also cities, and taking that to a whole nother level. Because when you look at longevity, you look at the future of aging, the situation that we're in, really, you all, of course, are very well aware of this, is that we don't know what we don't know anymore, because we're just still in a completely new kind of decade or time frame. So this happens to me all the time. So what I wanted to tell you too, before I start with some questions for our group, is also to let you know that 1 out of every 5 people in America will be over 65 by 2030. 2 billion people in the world are projected to be over 65. So we have a really real challenge and opportunity when it comes to the future of aging. I love, Carrie, what you said about happiness. That's actually the presentation that I did most, is choosing happiness. Because the Milken Institute just came out with a study and they say positive thinking around aging will increase your longevity by about 7.5 years. So that's how important optimism is to all of our lives, and how important to spread the word that optimism is there. I also wanted to just say that we're going to do our best, and we're hoping for the best, right? But we don't know exactly what the future of aging looks like. But I can't imagine a panel of people who might be more able to help us understand it. So Becky, if you'll just raise your hand, we're not in order here. Becky, her eye is on public policy. She has an intimate knowledge of long-term care arena as well. Caroline, dedicated to assistive technologies and inclusive design for promoting independence. Mandy is a geriatric care manager, along with a few other things which I know you'll talk about today. She works on the front lines with individuals who are aging and their families. And Vanetta, who, round of applause, just got her professorship. So we need to. She is also a nurse, psychologist, and gerontologist, focused on addressing brain function, but also issues of disparities and race relation stresses. So I want to begin. I've talked a little bit about your bios. Everyone has your bios. But I'm interested in asking each of you, and then maybe we can start down there, a little bit about why you think you're a good candidate for this panel. What is it that you know about the future of aging? And what are some of the things that, maybe some perspectives that you may have?
That's a trick question to start, right? You guys hear me?
A little closer. Take it off.
All right, how's that? Yes? Yeah, okay. I'm the first one to start. Well, I guess I'm good at this panel because my passion in life is actually helping people to age well. So I'm a neuropsychologist specialized in aging, and my 20+ years in this field has taught me that we can do things to age better. We can make choices, lifestyle changes that can allow us to have a greater chance of living longer without disability, without dementia, still be able to function well. And so that knowledge that I have, I try to translate to the patients that I see, the business that I have, the book that I wrote, all the outreach things that I do. And so, yeah, I think that we have more power than we used to think that we have to be able to control what the aging process looks like for us. We can't guarantee things, but we can certainly make our chances better that we will have a better late life than what we already have.
Excellent. Perfect.
Hi, good afternoon. So why am I a candidate for this panel? So for about 20 years of my career, I worked in the long-term care ombudsman program. I ran it for the state of Georgia and then also at the national level in federal government. And so I really focused in those careers, those jobs, on how well our residents, nursing homes, assisted living, other congregate settings, how are they doing? How can we improve policy, improve their lives? Now, for the last 5 years, I've been working at the Atlanta Regional Commission. And not only are we focused on providing services and providing support for individuals who are aging now within the 10-county metro area, but part of our mandate is to look to the future, plan for the future, look to what does our region offer older people. And you may not know this because we have this tendency to think of metro Atlanta as kind of a young population. We have the region with the fastest growing older population in the United States. Think about it. How many of us, including me, moved here in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s? And you're staying, aren't you? Well, I'm staying.
I am, if I could move in here.
If you ask people in Metro Atlanta, what's your plan? They're like, I'm staying here. We're all aging here together. So that's the future.
Thank you.
Students have that room to do public try this. I am.
Yes.
I continue. So an interesting thing for me, as they said, I'm on the front lines, and I've always learned that in order to plan for the future, you need to learn from mistakes. Sorry, I said that.
Yes.
In order to plan for the future, you have to learn from mistakes of the past. And unfortunately, dealing with a lot of the families that I deal with have made a lot of mistakes. And they look to me in terms of crisis, okay, how do I fix things now? And I'm hoping that we can help, as everybody said, learn from those mistakes and have healthy aging for us, because we're all in a bad way. So it's truly about learning from some of the things that we have done and trying to make different decisions about aging successfully as we go forward. So being hands-on, I want to talk some personal experience about some of the things that I've seen, and then hopefully we can improve on.
All right, and hey everybody, Carolyn. The reason why I feel like I'm a good candidate for this is because I'm with these awesome people and I'm with all of you. I am thrilled to be with you. Design is the space in which I live, really moving the whole thing forward. Good design is really an act of love. Carrie, what you were describing is act of love, right? Making this place a place that's really inclusive and beautiful. So thinking about that, I'm excited about the future. I am excited about aging with all of you here in Atlanta because we are doing some amazing, innovative things. A lot of times, what I find is the gap is people don't even know the power of the device that you have in your pocket or the device that you use as a computer and you're sending, you're doing Zoom on. There's so much power that's right here. And it's a matter of figuring out how to educate everybody, how to use that, leverage it, and really make this work for you and make it really work well. I'm excited about what's happening in our labs. I live in that sweet spot of research where it meets practice and practice where it meets education. And then of course I run over Becky for the policy piece. And seeing how we can actually shape, learn a lot about our design community, learn a lot about the design of mainstream technology, how do we make mainstream technology as inclusive as possible. So I think that's how I'm here. What do you think?
I think that's really okay, well, that was great. Thank you all. It's a little awkward. I can move. Okay. I wanted to go actually back to Mandy, if that's okay. I wonder from your perspective, again, being on the front lines, what you would say some of the biggest changes have been in the last decade around aging, and then you could specifically talk to the pandemic and how the pandemic might have really influenced caring for your aging loved one. I say all the time, you gotta be the CEO of your own care, right? The CEO of your own care plan. And what do we need to do? Not just resources, because I'll address that later, but what do we need to do and what has changed that is important?
Thank you, great question. Unfortunately, most of the calls that I get are for people in crisis, okay? Something happened, mom, dad, husband, whatever, fell, broke the head, or showing signs of dementia. What do I do now? COVID, unfortunately, totally acts like that. Because now, some of the communities where people were living, they were not able to visit, And so what some people did is say, well, okay, let me evaluate the situation from my perspective. It brings to an excellent point that I actually asked Alex to talk to me about is communication. So one of the biggest things that I see with our generation, different to our parents, is that we communicate. We are not shy about saying what we want, what we're looking for. What our parents, for the most part, don't want to bother you, don't have to know, until unfortunately something really bad happens and then you get the call and say, if only I would have known. So one of the big things that I hope we can all take away from this and you can learn is how important it is to understand what you want for your successful aging and B, to communicate that. Either write it down, tell your children, have an advocate, somebody that knows, so that when something does happen to you, and unfortunately it probably will, then it's a very successful process versus a crisis.
Yeah, that's a great answer. So, just to add to that, because communication is so important. It's not only communicating upward, but downward. So knowing as you get older, that's your responsibility to communicate with your children, grandchildren, if that's the case. And one of the things that I always find fascinating is when I read about two people that have, in the same family, it's a mom and her daughter, right? The mom might be in her 80s, the daughter's in her 40s. You ask the daughter, does your mom want to live with you? Yes. That's driving me crazy. She wants to live with me. You ask the mother's like, no way. I don't know anything to do with that whole situation, they can come this way. So this lack of communication, and then the other part about that is finances, right? I mean, we just don't communicate about finances, and I think that that's really important. So thank you for that. That's helpful. Do you want to add more?
No, that's okay. I don't want to take it long.
Not at all. Okay, so I wanted to then go maybe down to Vanetta and talk a little bit about the disparities between men and women, and especially in lower socioeconomic, situations, and how the underserved population is dealing with these disparities.
Yeah, that's a really great question. So you really brought up two important intersections when we think about aging. So if you're older, male versus females, and then also across different racial ethnic groups, you see differences. You see differences in access to resources, differences in medical care, different things that can affect the aging process. A lot of which could be avoidable with some of our ways to figure out how to impact society. But on an individual level, there are things that we can try to do to reduce those disparities. And again, that's part of what I really try to emphasize. Actually, my lab at Georgia State is called the Aging Well Everyone Lab, because our goal was to try to help everyone age well, regardless of socioeconomic status, race, other barriers that might be there. And part of that's just making these healthy choices like moving more, eating well, keeping your mind engaged, staying socially connected. Those are things that all of us can do, and they can help to overcome some of the external factors that lead to the health disparities. So that's I think that addresses the part about some of the more racial and socioeconomic status disparities. When it comes to men and women, we see a lot of differences with aging. We know women tend to live longer and healthier than men. And there's more of a vascular disease burden in men. And so I think it emphasizes kind of like what was being said earlier, that sometimes that communication, I think our society sort of kind of pushes men to be more silent and to not speak up about concerns. And I've seen that when it comes to depression as well. My expertise, one of my areas of expertise is in labor depression. And a lot of times for men, they won't speak up until a lot later. And at that point, the damage has been done to their brain, where their risk for dementia has gotten higher because they've gone on months or years not getting treatment. And the lack of treatment for depression can contribute to dementia risk. So I think a lot of it has to do with that education, reducing the stigma around mental illness, and even physical health, in terms of people being able to speak up about it. That can help as well.
That was really well said. And it goes again, and you may be the centerpiece of all this, it goes again back to communication. Right. For some reason, we forget to ask each other how they are. I was with my grandmother, who I love dearly. She's always moving me. But we were getting her hearing devices, and the man is literally talking to me, and not even acknowledging that she's in the room. And we left 3 passengers all about that not happening. But we left 3 places before I could find someone who was actually talking to her. She was purchasing her. There's this communication, asking from a mental health perspective, I now have some young people that are going through mental health issues. We have so many older people that are going through mental health issues, and those of them don't want, and many of them don't want to talk about that, because it's not something we talked about, right? Now it's a little bit more open, but it wasn't something people talked about. So I thought that was very instructive. Becky, I'm gonna go to you real quickly. And I hate to do. Real close.
Yes, I was the only
Really?
people in the back of the room and I hear anything.
Should you turn it up? Okay, all right, I can talk real loud. So,
You would use the mic of the woman next to you, please, yeah.
there you go. Good. So,
Fuzzy, I'm very fuzzy.
yeah, I don't know, does this help? Is this better? Or lav mics, maybe next time, I don't know. But as long as you can hear me now, it's okay back there? Do you want to come up to the front?
All
Okay, I'm gonna walk around. How's that? Innovation, I'm gonna change the face of this, and it will be innovative. Okay, and I need to do this here. But my question for Becky is actually related to your thoughts around living arrangements in the future. And Carrie and I actually briefly discussed this prior. Do you think that, and I still have problems, do you think that people should be looking at assisted living as their only option from a long-term care perspective? Do you think that some people are better off? I know ARP talks about 90-something% of people will say that they would prefer to live at their home where they raise their children. What do you think about future living arrangements, and at what point can someone's family and someone as an individual make that decision for themselves?
Great question. How am I doing back there? Okay. We're talking about 20% of our population later this decade being over age 65. That means a lot of people with a lot of different preferences and a lot of different needs and a lot of different opportunities and resources. We need it all. We need services in people's homes. That is where most people receive, now I'm talking long-term care specifically, obviously not everybody 65 plus or even 85 plus or even 95 plus needs long-term care. So first let's put that is actually a minority of older people that need the level of service that assisted living or nursing home would provide. But with that minority of people, which we do need to be planning for, we see most people getting those services in their own homes. And that is possible with enough resources. Others choose a more congregate setting because it fits their lifestyle better, it gives them the opportunities to be more social. There are lots of reasons why people choose that. We're gonna need it all and more. The bigger problem in my book is we haven't figured out a way to pay for it. Long-term care is the biggest uninsured risk in our country. And that's the big problem, is not where we're gonna get it as much as how we're gonna pay for it as a nation. With the exception of people who can self-finance, because, I mean, Ronald Reagan never went to any facility. He had plenty of resources to bring everything he needed to his home, regardless of years of dementia. And that was his family's preference, his preference. You can fund it if you got the money. But we haven't figured out as a society how we're gonna pay for all the different options that people want and demand.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I think just to add to that, one of the challenges that we really need, that is in addition to communication is important, is the idea around specialized specialization. You know, it's nice to be able to afford to have someone to come into your home, right, and take care of your parents or take care of you. But if you're isolated, it takes years and years off your life. So you have to be very careful from a planning perspective how you do that moving forward.
Sorry, can I just add something to that? Can you hear me? Is that better? This to me is so exciting. I should have said why I'm graduating from this panel, because I'm so passionate about aging and opportunities that are out there. It's forcing us, to Becky's point, to think outside the box, okay? There are a lot of different ideas right there now that are out there about versions of congregate living, like self-sustaining communities, different ages within a community. If you look at, I'm from South Africa, okay? I grew up in a country where we didn't have this many assisted livings and skilled nursing and things out there. It was much more family and community oriented. And I see us going back to that. And I think that it's a tremendous opportunity for us in the Asian community to help plan and design options that are out there that are affordable. I mean, as wonderful as Corso is, and in communities like this, not everybody to make this point can afford it, or even to stay at home with in-home care. So if we can come up with some solutions that are win-win for both, you feel good because you're helping somebody who's older, and in return, you're creating a service.
Right.
Fantastic.
Right, right, thank you for adding that. All right, now we gotta hit up Caroline over there. We're gonna up the game a little bit here with some less somewhat depressing subject matter. We're gonna talk about the future of aging from a technology standpoint, which is so critical for all of us, because these are the types of things that maybe can keep you in your home or bring you here and you're able to walk and not have to, you know, have surgeries and acute conditions and all of that. So tell us a little bit about what we can expect from Georgia Tech, what we can expect in general from the perspective of technology, but also when you're thinking about, and I was going to say, please define big data for everyone, but I just had a really lengthy conversation about crypto, so I have a feeling you don't need to know what big data is. But that being said, maybe you can talk about that too. I do a lot of consulting in Silicon Valley startups, and they're not as much interested in the technology as they are getting the information. So I feel like that was a lot to ask, but maybe you can bundle it all up.
I can bundle, and can you hear me? Back there, all right, great. So, lots that you just asked about. We live in a time of yes. Really and truly, 20 years ago, people would come to me with an issue, and I would say, gosh, you know, if we could only had this, we only had big data, if we only had, you know, X number of, you know, ways that this device could work. And what we now live in is that it is possible. I am constantly saying yes to people. Can I live in my own home? Yes, yes you can. Let's figure it out. Can I actually use my voice to control everything in my house? Yes, you can. If I can't speak though, let's say I have a stroke, can I still use my voice to control everything in my house? Yes, you can, as of about 3 weeks ago. Yes. So the thing is, we are living in a time that nobody else has ever lived when it comes to where technology is and where it's going. 1940s, my aunt and uncle moved to the country out on Briarcliff Road. That's where my wife and I live. I know, way back in the country, right on Briarcliff Road. I got the address. And so my wife and I took that 1940s house because Huntington's runs in our family. And we actually got the house during COVID, which is a great idea. And we made it completely accessible. But we went ahead and planned that, you know, my mom died of Huntington's, my grandmother died of it. I am at the worst of this. And, you know, so we planned ahead. So we actually put a track in the ceiling. So let's say Carolyn develops Huntington's and she needs to take a shower, which I should, or that. Now we can put a track in, right? We thought about that. It's completely accessible. The microwave works from voice. Everything is touch, you know, so it doesn't, I wouldn't get confused, other people wouldn't get confused. My mom, we allowed, because we totally made that home accessible with the little things like, hey, this is a hot temperature, controlling temperature, and non-invasive things, like, as I said, design is beautiful. So thinking ahead. The other thing is big data, like you're saying. I have the great opportunity of working with a lot of big name companies that y'all know, probably some of you work with or work with. And one of the big conversations that we're having is, yes, we have a lot of data. What can we do with that data? The reason why the conversation shifted about 3 weeks ago to if you have a speech-related disability that we can now use those speech recognition devices is big data. It's because we have enough voices captured and we've been able to run the algorithm enough. And so now we can actually see that we can differentiate what a yes is, what a no is, lights, all of those things. So there's hope all around us and it's a matter of figuring it out. The other thing that I will say, I love to swim since COVID's kind of loosened up a tiny bit. I got back in the pool. at Georgia Tech. And so of course I'm swimming with all these like Georgia Tech students, here I am, swimming. Then I get out, I get the hot tub, I'm in the hot tub with all these great Georgia Tech students, and I'm like, oh, it's so awkward. But anyway, so they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, so I be in the hot tub with you. I'm talking about the work that we do. They were fascinated. And these are folks from all different disciplines. So I think it goes back to communication, telling the story of what's needed. There was a student sitting in there, and he said, tell me what are the problems that you can't solve. I went into great detail about this problem that I couldn't solve on Friday afternoon. Saturday night, he texted me and said that this work, and he's in the app that he developed. That's what I mean. We live in a time where yes, and it's a matter of putting the problem out there, let's problem solve. Let's solve for N, if you will, an N of one. Let's solve for the individual and then expand it. The other thing, just this weekend, I was working with a woman who, it's her 90th birthday, and she wanted an Xbox. And the reason why is because she wanted to play Fortnite with her grandson. And so, and she had a stroke. So she's like, how are we going to do this? And I'm like, it's totally possible. 3D printed controller device that would adapt the controller. She actually is playing Fortnite. I got a text from her when we were sitting here, and she's like, I had 10 kills already. So that was her dream. So think about those things, and it is possible. What is your dream? What is your goal? What is your issue? Let's talk about it and solve it.
Oh, that's great. Maybe that's an initiative that your group could be a part of, and we can help you figure out how to solve any challenges or issues, or don't write that down, haven't committed to what you're saying. What a great idea. I wanted to move on from that because those were great responses to brain health a little bit. But Vanetta, I know that you are specialized in brain and aging, and I gave a speech called How to Live to 100, the key indicator of how you live to 100. It's a fun speech. When I asked the audience, do you want to live to 100? 9 out of 10, I see you. 9 out of 10 times they say, do you want to live to 100? Raise your hand if you want to live to 100. Okay. Why don't you want to live to 100?
So my parents are 96 and 92.
Okay.
My mom's the youngest of 3 older siblings. They're 98 and 96, all living independently. And so I think it's awesome about longevity genes, but I'm watching the struggles, especially that my father has. And he's got 9th generation, 9th gene, 9th generation. He's a little blind, 96, and he's deaf and he's blind, and it's tough. And so my heart breaks. And so it's a health challenge, right? And he didn't start young enough adapting to his vision as he's losing it. He pushed off. So I take lessons, take my vitamins, and adapt early.
Thank you for sharing that. I was going also along the lines of dementia and Alzheimer's and brain function, because most people answer and they say, if my brain is solid and if I can, if I'm healthy from the dementia standpoint, yes, then I would like to live to 100. I wonder how that resonates with you, or if you're hearing more about these chronic conditions that maybe people aren't, preparing for in advance, and what's out there to help us, because I never ever land up in a situation where someone goes and say, what should I take Ginkgo? Should I just do good? Should I do it? I'm like, I'm just trying to fly in a plane, sir. There's a lot of information out there, but maybe you have the answer for us.
Well, first thing I'll say is there are better things to do than taking them. I'll start with that. Actually, I will just say as a quick aside, you brought that up. So I have a company called CerebraFit, so it's all about integrated brain health, different lifestyle behaviors that can help you healthy brain. On our Instagram page, we have a post every day about something related to health. And so the post today is about how a new study showed that this common ingredient in brain supplements actually contributes to dementia risk. So they claim that it's going to reduce the dementia risk, and in fact, actually increases it. And it kind of fits one of the things people forever, which is don't rely on supplements. Louder?
Increase what? Yeah, what's?
Oh, increases dementia risk for Alzheimer's disease. It's called L-serine. So if you look at the ingredients in certain supplements, you look at the ingredients list and see what's in it. It says L-serine, so L-SER Yes, thank you, good question. So, and again, just because I started on this path, I will say that in general, this research does show that these supplements do very little, if anything, to promote your brain health. You get a lot more by having a healthy lifestyle, to kind of get to part of your question, that includes things that I sort of mentioned. The big six are physical activity, social activity, and cognitive activity. Then you want to have good sleep, good nutrition, and good overall health, meaning that you're following up on your health care, particularly vascular health, so heart disease, and you're following up on your mental health care. So if you were to make your goal to be to make a step in the right direction for all of those, that's going to do much more for you than taking a supplement. And so that's the quick version of my entire book. Pretty much. So again, there's much more details to that, but I think that right now we're learning more and more that we can do things to age better, and I think that the attitude about living to get 100 and the pessimism that can come with it might change a little bit as we see that there's more and more examples of people who are really living these wonderfully successful, happy, engaged lives into their 90s and 100s and beyond. I'm actually one of the research studies that I'm a part of it for the States, a multi-site study headed up at Boston University. We're studying centenarians, people who get to be 100, and their offspring to try to understand what makes them resilient. Can we figure out beyond these lifestyle behaviors, is there something genetic, environmental, reality can be a combination, we know that, but what are the factors that help people to live not just longer, but healthier longer? So I think that kind of research will continue to help us understand how all of us can live differently to be able to live better the longer we get. So then hopefully the answer will change and more people will say, absolutely, I want to live to be 100.
Excellent, thank you. And I would add pets, plants, and people. The 3 Ps, yes, to that. Pets, plants, and people. You hear that a lot from people who live to 100. Is this better? There's a big study at University of Georgia where they talk about people who have lived to 100, and that's one of the things. Did you have questions?
No, I was just saying she's a promoter of books.
Thank you for that. There are little postcards out there on the table.
Do you want to me? Just flag me down, rub it back here. Yeah.
Can I start for marketing?
Okay, thank you very much. I want to go to Becky now because I think this is a great segue into a question I know is dear to your heart. And as I mentioned before, being the CEO of your own caregiving is your first step in anything that you do. But what do you do? I mean, I get over 10 calls from friends and family and strangers that I've met, somewhere 30 years ago, I said, oh my God, I'm in crisis mode, I don't know what to do. And I think it's certainly in the Georgia area, you have resources that you wanted to talk a little bit about.
Thank you so much. Yes, so the Atlanta Regional Commission is the area agency on aging for Metro Atlanta. That's a federal designation. There are area agencies on aging in every part of the United States and territories. And one of the really critical things we do is, tens of thousands of times a year, is we have information counselors who help individuals figure out what's out there. What's the language I use? How do I ask for it? What can I afford? If I can't afford it, how do I access publicly funded services? All of those kinds of information pieces are one of the things that we do. And I put postcards and other things out there that all say Empowerline on them. Empowerline is how we brand our services to older adults, their caregivers, people with disabilities. So contact us if you're in Metro Atlanta, and Elder Care Locator does it nationally. So really one of the things is just learning the vocabulary, like what do I even ask for is sometimes a challenge, but we do a lot of that kind of connecting people to resources. So thank you for that question. Can I ask one thing to Vanessa's really quick? I love what Vanessa had to say about prevention, and there's so much more work and knowledge we have now about preventing dementia. It's not like we have a silver bullet, but there's a lot we can do, and we know now that we didn't a few years ago. One really important thing that I think never gets said the incidence of dementia in the United States is going down. Right?
Yeah.
People don't know this. You hear, oh, it's getting worse because there are more older people and older people are at higher risk. But as a population, our prevalence, if you look at the percentage of population, it's going down. And it's going down especially for people who are well-educated, who stay socially engaged, and all the things you mentioned, stay healthy. It is a hopeful message. So I just want to make sure people know that, because that is not what people think is happening.
Sorry, and if I could just add to that, it should make everybody excited more about the future of aging. Because what Carolyn said, you know, now we can say yes to a lot of things. People didn't know what was out there before. You cannot believe the resources other than technology just for people to help. One of the things that I get is, oh, I'd like to move out of my home, but I've got all this stuff. How do I decide what to take? Who will move it up? There's people to do that. There are people now literally who will do almost anything that you need as far as aging goes. And I find that incredibly exciting. So instead of saying, oh my God, I don't want to live to 100 because my life will be so diminished, my life will be different, but I see it as expanded just in different areas.
And there's a happiness curve.
And
You wanna know
I-
about the happiness curve?
So, okay, I was just, I'm taking control of that, ladies. That is the speech that I give about choose happiness. Now, I'll just quickly talk about this. In gerontology, we call it paradox of aging, right? So there's this happiness curve. You can look it up, there are books and all kinds of things. But if you ask people how happy they are, if they're under the age of, what is it, 10? They're happy. They're at about a 7.5 out of 10. Then it continues to go down and down and down. And right where I am, the sweet spot around 55 is the worst. Right? You hate your life. I don't know it. Apparently, you hate your life and everything's bad, retirement, and it just goes on and on and on. Stress, right? Stress and just everything that's going on, menopause, whatever, all these things are going on. But then as you get through there, right, through the 50s, 55, and 60, you see a significant change of it going right back up. And this goes all the way into your 90s. And we call it the happiness curve because it's a nice big smile, right? So something to really look forward to think about, and to read more about happiness curve. Just moving on, and we are running a little tight on time, but I did want to get back to Caroline. And I want to know, because I think we have numerous baby boomers in the audience, how do you think baby boomers have changed the future of aging? And what does that look like?
Thank goodness for the baby boomers. I'm Gen X, and I am so thankful for y'all. Because you said, hell no, we're not gonna age the way that our last generation, excuse my language, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna age differently, and you have made it look different, and you can look to every generation behind you, which I appreciate, so thank you. The thing also is the big united voice that you have. You know, I think people don't realize how much impact that your voice can make as a community, as a united group. I would love to see our builders really be held accountable and build every new house accessible. I would love to see that. It should be a policy. It should be something that we're all thinking about, and that's something that this voice, our baby boomers could really say, hey, by the way, my son, my house is inaccessible, you know, when I bought it from the design. Also holding companies accountable. The airport, we live in a city that has the busiest airport. We were just talking about this. I sit on their Americans with Disabilities Act board council, but honestly, it really should be aging friendly, like Becky was saying. And I think that's something that we can really push for. This generation, the baby boomers, have really pushed, I think, policy and understanding that it's got to be sustainable, that it's not just a one and done, that you've got to get involved with policy and you've got to change policy and you've got to help make sure that everybody all the way down knows when it comes to regulations and all of that. So there's a whole lot when it comes to what the impact has been. Microsoft, I was in a conversation with them the other day. Great company, I love working with them. And they actually are paying close attention to the baby boomers, because Y'all are living and aging in a way nobody else ever has. And so paying attention. We're seeing more gamers than ever before. One of their big increase numbers in gaming is actually our baby boomers, because they have more time. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's game. Virtual reality, 3D printing. I can't tell you how many folks I know now that actually have a 3D printer. And they're grabbing designs and they're printing at home and doing all kinds of things, so those little solutions. There was a woman that I was working with the other day who had problems, she got arthritis, she said, I need to leave her doors. And I said, oh, there's a design online about that. So she actually just printed all her 3D levers for her whole house, they look beautiful. So thinking and thinking way outside the box. I kind of feel like your generation is like, we don't even have a box, so that's awesome. So a whole lot there.
That's excellent, thank you. We are in just a moment going to open up to questions, unless you want to promote someone on that day is here. No, I'm gonna, can I come to you in 1 second, so I'm gonna ask them one more question. I will open up at about 1 o'clock, and I think you just answered this for us, but when you think about the future of aging, you know, a lot of it is around, especially for an audience like this, the sandwich generation, is around caregiving, it's around our own caring for ourselves. But when you think of the future and what you're hopeful for and what you think is going to be the most, you know, spectacular and enjoyable part of the future of aging, Randy, what do you think that is for you?
So I see this, we just need to reframe the equation. Everybody's, oh my God, I don't want to get old. We need to turn it around and say, I am getting old. How can I make it the best possible experience? And as a boomer myself, I can tell you, everything is geared to you. When it used to be geared to you, everything was about staying young, looking young, doing this, and still some of that. But I feel like things are changing, momentum is shifting. There's a very interesting organization called Growing Bolder that I actually told you about. I'm sure you guys, some of you have heard of it. And the whole point about Growing Bolder is taking older people and going, pushing yourself to do things you never thought you could do. There's people that run races, that swim, it's just amazing. And I think our generation, which is so exciting to me, and I hope you guys can pick up on that excitement, there's really nothing you can't do, okay? It's just in a different way.
Yeah.
So about the future of aging, which excites me, and I see with my clients, because now a lot of my adult children are becoming my clients where I help them with my parents. They look at it, the approach is totally different, and it's so exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about the future of aging, and I hope you with me. I just want to leave with saying that there are tons of resources out there. One of the biggest problems I think people have is fear, and they're overwhelmed. Where do I start? How do I deal with it? There are a myriad of people, resources that are available that never were before.
Yeah.
You don't have to go, don't go gently into the good one.
I'm
going to keep you stream.
I love that. Just a little case sample, my mom is in her early 80s and just embarked on the piano. She had a knee replacement 3 months ago. I'm close on that. Yeah, oh my gosh. But a full knee replacement 3 months ago and is now about to walk 120 kilometers. So I can't agree with you more that we just look at it. Yes. Go ahead, Becky, please.
I'm excited about ageism and ableism being called out for what it is. I'm excited about us talking about aging as living.
Yeah. I said we get a round of applause for that.
Everyone is aging. You start aging from the minute you're born. And we talk about it as an us, them. Those people are aging, those seniors, it's us. It's all of us. We need to claim that we have disability, that we have ability, that we're all aging. And I think it's growing. I mean, you can see it in Frankie and Grace. You can see it in This Chair Rocks, an amazing book by Ashton Applewhite. You can see it growing. The momentum is growing for us to all think inclusively about we are all aging and we all have levels of disability. Let's quit being ageist and ableist and we'll have a much, much better time.
Your answers were so great that I'm not gonna say anything very new, but I will say my response to that, I'm excited about people feeling empowered. And I think that really captures kind of everything that was said. Empowered that you can age better because of the technology you have access to, because of being able to age in place if you want to, because of the resources and policies that are changing, because of what you can choose to do yourself. And you can choose to live every day of your life. You can choose to actively embrace every day, knowing what your abilities and disabilities are, but knowing that despite whatever that balance is, how to be changed, that you can still live, you can still be active. And I think as people get that knowledge and they learn about resources, I think it will make them feel empowered. And we know that in of itself will change how you age when you have that optimism, as we discussed before. So that's what I'm saying.
That is fantastic. Thank you. So a few minutes for questions? Okay. First of all, I've learned, and I've been doing this for a long time, so this was great. Thank you so much for all of your information. Find out what is happening to help curb the images in the media about women over a certain age. There's tremendous discrimination out there, and I didn't hear it mentioned too much in the discussion. Age discrimination is rampant out there. In the pandemic period that we're still going through that, we have so much to contribute. We're not just all playing golf or playing tennis or doing macrame or something, but we are able, we have problem solving skills. We have experience that's unbelievable. No one's asking us for anything. Right? And we see the mistakes as they go through there. It's like, gee, I could have told them this wouldn't have gone this way. I could have helped in terms of that. No one's counting on us. I think we're our own worst enemy in that. We don't know how to define ourselves really in that very wide range. And that's really critically important to resources and everything else. That it's not just about health and medical and getting better and sick and aging from that perspective, but the viability that we all have to contribute more. The baby boomers, we're still, and even the group above us, beyond us, we still have a lot mentally and emotionally, physically even, ways to contribute. Absolutely. And so if you didn't hear this question or this observation, I feel like you answered yourself. This observation, the question is around age discrimination and the idea that just because we hit a certain number or we retire, on a Monday, on a Tuesday, we're all of a sudden irrelevant and have no value to add back. So I'm not, there we go.
Excellent question. And I am totally with you. As somebody who conducts, research studies and usability studies, I am totally, and my students are totally looking for you. Companies are looking for you. And so if you are interested in helping us problem solve, I would love it. We went from saying user research is actually expert research because it's y'all saying here are the problems, just like you said. And I'm not kidding, I get probably 15 to 20 studies a semester where somebody's looking for you. So if you're interested, please let me know. I would love it. The other thing, I think that we don't realize, and I say this all the time, the power we have with our voting with our dollars. I feel like every time I am buying something, I am voting with my dollars. Every time I watch something, I am voting with my dollars. And so the questions that I asked, Comcast wanted to give me a better deal. And I said, tell me how many people you have that you've employed over the age of 55. Tell me how many people that you hire with disabilities, and then we'll talk about it, right? And this person's just trying to get me to sign up. I never had this question, and I'm like, it's the answer, call me back. They came back with the answers, and I was like, all right. And I didn't go with them. But those are the kinds of questions that I asked all the time. I asked T-Mobile, well, tell me how much. So I think it's that. But it's also changing. Doing these auditions, I know that you're beautiful. And I think that you should audition. There are calls all the time for people, and we've got to get there and change what that looks like. What is media saying about us? And my daughter did this, by the way. She uses a speech device, and I gotta be honest as a parent, I thought she'll never get picked. And she actually was in an Apple commercial. She gets stopped all the time using her speech device, filmed right here with her soccer team in Atlanta. It's been viewed 77 million times and translated into 26 languages. So audition.
And, yeah. Now, addition to, so my mom is really interested in you establish that, but she also does that, and she's over 80, she's taking something for all different kinds of, you name it, commercials, everything that you might want to do, but I also wanted to add Encore, right? Isn't that a great place for folks to go? Encore.org, and that's, it's not global, but it's throughout the United States, and that is, they really began to understand what it means to value materials who want to be valuable and be empowered and give back something. And that's not just volunteering either. So I think that's important. Yes, ma'am.
And your mother is ageless, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like to look up to.
So you all touched on this a little bit. We have a housing crisis, and I think we're gonna have it for a long time. So what are the things that we can think about outside the box and not just requiring, I just think policies. It's gonna take a while. What policies, whether it's policies, subsidies, encouragement, and you're gonna have multi-generational housing probably, but also new construction or renovation, that would be great to hear.
Accessory dwelling units. I know people feel different about them. We have an apartment on our property and we're using it for an aging family member who's going through a divorce. It works beautifully. One day, I'm hoping that my caregiver is, I'm gonna give her, I assume it's a her. I'm gonna give her housing so that she will want to be my caregiver if I need a formal caregiver. Or maybe a family member will live there. I'm trying to get my bathroom redone. I'm trying to get the contractor to make that shower a 0-step shower. He's like, no, that's not easy to do. I'm like, I know people who do that. And I will get my shower without a step. Because who knows, at one point, I'm gonna need to be able to access that shower. And I don't want my house to trap me. Yes. How many split levels have trapped people by not having a bedroom and a bathroom and a kitchen all on the same level? This is just like when we buy our houses, we walk with their money, right? We vote with their money. Buy our houses so we can live in them, right?
So what policies do you think we should promote to encourage?
Oh, Carolyn's in the kitchen for that one.
We can totally talk, I don't want to take up too much time.
Visibility.
James, finally. Yeah, visibility is one. Mi Casa is something actually is bipartisan support on a federal level, but it's just been caught up for years. But it's actually all about accessible housing and inclusive housing. And I'm happy to share that information. Yeah, right on.
Excellent. We have a question up here. Yeah, go for it.
And while she's walking, I want to make sure people heard me say visitability, not visibility, because visitability means not only is the house accessible for you, but accessible for your friends who might need access.
This is a question for Bonato. About 5 or 6 years ago, this group, this IWF group, had an interesting lunch at Emory with the CDC experts and Emory talking about the research on Alzheimer's. And it was a little depressing because they said they really weren't very far. I wondered if that has changed.
Yeah, that's a really good question. That's the million dollar
Can
question.
you repeat the question?
Oh, yes. So the question is whether or not much has changed when it comes to what we know about Alzheimer's disease. She was in particular referencing a few years ago when some Emory researchers were talking about the state of Alzheimer's research. So I hate to still be negative, but we still have a ways to go. Some of you might have heard that there is a drug that came out in the last year that was meant to be for treating Alzheimer's disease. A lot of controversy about it. And just really briefly, the controversy is that even though it is effective in removing some of the pathology in the brain that causes Alzheimer's disease, the studies are not showing that it changes the person's actual functioning in everyday life. And for me as a neuropsychologist, that's what I care about. I care about whether or not you can remember the person who you met 2 weeks ago, whether or not you can cook on your own without putting the burner on, and all those things that impact daily life. So if the brain changes without the outward manifestation, then it's not quite as helpful. So that is the biggest development we've had in Alzheimer's research, and it hasn't gone the way we wanted. And that's why, not to be only negative, that's why I emphasize more of the behavioral things we can do to reduce risk. Prevention is so much more important when you have a disease that we don't know how to treat. There's a ton of money going into finding treatments. I think we're gonna get there, but we're not there yet. So we still have to begin.
Okay, thank you. One of my goals as a speaker and a gerontologist is that everyone should leave happier than they came. And maybe we could, do something very quickly to make sure that that happens. This is all real tough information, it's real information. But maybe each of you, and I'll do the same, could just give us a real snapshot what you're doing as experts, with all of this information to improve your personal aging.
So I am actually doing the PPP, like people, pets, plants, all that. But I really, it's interesting because I chose a career in engineering and technology and all of that. Because I felt like until there's a cure, we've got to help people live better. And that's the whole big thing. So what I'm doing is continuing to move the conversation forward, challenge, not give up, and also make my own world more accessible.
And I have to say pretty much the same for me. I can't change the world, but I can change helping you adapt to your world. And for me, the big thing, I say in my company, my tagline is providing peace of mind for families. And the biggest compliment I get is when I talk to somebody and they say, oh, it just makes me so relieved to know I'm not alone. Because I think one of the biggest problems that people have dealing with aging parents or spouse, or people with dementia, that you feel so alone. And knowing that there's somebody out there who understands, can help guide you, and introduce you to other people that you feel comfortable with, part of the community, is terrific. So I count my blessings every day that I'm very lucky to do what I do. And I hope that you feel happy knowing that there's tremendous resources around you. Thank you.
So I'll just add to that, that I think the investment we make in our families, in our girlfriends, in our faith communities, neighborhoods, I think that the investments we make with other people in making sure we have a strong community will make a huge difference in how well we're able to age. Because while my group is called Aging and Independence Services, it's really about interdependence. And as we age, we see more and more that need for interdependence and that need for strong relationships. So I feel like whatever we're doing today to build those strengths in those relationships is an investment in our future.
I think the short answer for me is that I am trying to stay active and encouraging others to do the same. And I mean active in every way you can be active. I'm trying to live, to not just work, but to live and do things that, maintain my mental health, keep me engaged, keep my mind going, connect with people. And so I practice what I preach, and I try to help other people overcome those barriers, and they also continue to really live actively.
I love it. So I'll take all that and then I'll just add one other little mantra that I have. Working with older adults, working in this space, you have to have tremendous passion, and you also have to realize when you turn 50 that you're headed in that direction, right? So about 5 years ago, I said to myself, okay, I've got to look at things the way I preach, that people have to look at things. So I've now decided to just say, look, you wanna be ages toward me? It's 10% your action and 90% my reaction. Right, and what I do with that information and what I do with that situation. So hopefully you can all remember that, remember everything that these brilliant women spoke about today, and overall just choose happiness as you get older. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alexa. Thank you, Manetta, Becky, Mandy, Carolyn. Fabulous insights today. And thank you to Corso for this wonderful lunch. Corso has staff available right after this for some tours, so we appreciate that. Thank you to Helene and Nancy for putting together and finding Corso and this fabulous panel. Just excellent job. Let's give them one more. Thank you so much. And the tours will start in the back. Great to see you. Take your little information sheet because it's got calendar on the back side.
Yes.
So
Thank you.